Hello, this is Dr. Anna Maria Michalcha from AM Medical LLC. Today's topic is about healing with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. How does hyperbaric oxygen therapy work? So in a hyperbaric pressurized chamber, the individual is breathing pure oxygen, and this air pressure is increased about 3 times higher than normal air pressure. So the amount of oxygen that's carried in the blood is increased, and that promotes healing, fights infections. It is important that the treatment needs to be ongoing for a period of time. Usually the treatment in the hyperbaric chamber is about 20 minutes to pressurize, an hour to be in there, and then another 20 minutes to depressurize. What can hyperbaric be used for? So there's many FDA-approved indications for hyperbaric, which include wound healing, burns, infections, non-healing wounds like diabetic foot ulcers, carbon monoxide poisoning, severe anemia. But hyperbaric has also been used for athletic performance enhancement. Many athletes use the oxygen therapy in the hyperbaric chamber to help their recovery times, their healing, their overall mental acuity. It helps with cognitive performance enhancement. It has anti-aging effects. It's been used in AIDS and HIV, and allergies, and dementia, arthritis, asthma, autism, things like traumatic brain injury. It's been used as an adjunct in cancer therapy. Things like cerebral palsy, chronic fatigue syndrome, liver cirrhosis, and depression, fibromyalgia, ulcers, heart disease, hepatitis, migraines, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, spinal cord injury, sports injuries, and strokes. So there's a wide variety of indications in which this treatment could be useful. So there has been research regarding the effects on neurons and on the brain by hyperbaric oxygen therapy. In strokes, there has been a decrease in the infarct size and improved recovery. There is studies that show that hyperbaric oxygen promotes the differentiation of the stem cells into neurons. In traumatic brain injury, it's been used with beneficial effects. In autistic children, there are results of improved overall functioning, better social interaction, better eye contact, and improved sensory and cognitive awareness. In January of 2019, the researchers have found the first PET scan documented case of improvement in the brain's metabolism in Alzheimer's disease. So there was a 58-year-old woman who had 5 years of cognitive decline, and then that started to progress very quickly, and they did a SPECT tomography, which suggested Alzheimer's disease. She underwent 40 hyperbaric oxygen treatment and did it very intensely, 5 days a week over 66 days. The treatment was 50 minutes total treatment time. So after 21 treatments, the patient had increased energy and improved level of activity, better mood. The ability to perform daily activities of living was improved, and crossword puzzles, which is obviously requires cognitive functioning, so that was improved. Then after 40 treatments, there was increased memory and concentration, sleep, conversation, appetite, ability to use the computer, more good days than bad days, resolved anxiety, and decreased disorientation and frustration. There were some other neurological tests like tremor and tandem gait and motor speed that were also improved. Then they did a repeat imaging and showed up to 38% improvement in brain metabolism. What that means was that the neurons in the brain had improved and enhanced activity. So benefits of higher oxygen levels definitely destroys bacteria. It improves the immune system, and white blood cells are the cells of the immune systems that kill bacteria. In bones, for example, after fractures, there is substantially more rapid healing times. There's enhanced wound healing. There is an increase in stem cells that are circulating. Inflammation is decreased, which is very important. As you know, all diseases of aging are related to inflammation. Angiogenesis means the growth of new blood vessels, so that then provides oxygenation in the tissues, so that's improved. Blood flow is improved, there is increased hormone production, and energy production is increased, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Lactic acid is a byproduct of metabolism that when it accumulates in the tissues, everybody knows how sore the muscles get, so it prevents the buildup of this. There's also improved detoxification of environmental toxins. There's improvement for allergies. Reduction in pain is often reported. Relaxation of fatigued muscles. This is why athletes use it. But it can be used for people with fibromyalgia. It speeds up the metabolism, which is really important when we're talking about chronic degenerative diseases that are metabolic, induce, for example, diabetes, obesity, and it stimulates the immune system. So how does voltage, oxygen, and pH work together? So a normal cell operates at a pH, which is a marker for acidity and neutrality. The lower the pH, the more acidic the body is, the higher the pH, the more alkaline the body is, with normal being at around 7.35 up to 7.4. So that is equivalent to about minus 20 millivolts. So if you just wanted to maintain health, you need the range of the acidity to be in that range because all cells are electric. And when the electricity in the cells is decreased, then things aren't functioning properly. So what happens is that when the pH drops, in the same way, voltage drops and oxygen drops. Then the body becomes acidic. It also becomes hypoxic, meaning has low oxygen levels, and then pathogens like bacteria and fungi and viruses, they can start multiplying in the body and cause diseases. So there are many theories now that, for example, say that heart disease is caused by a proliferation of mycoplasma, which is a type of a unusual bacteria. And there are theories that say that cancer is caused by fungus. So high acidity and low oxygenation also cause pain and fatigue. So people with chronic pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, all of that can be related to the pH. Low oxygen levels increase the anaerobic bacteria, so bad bacteria in the gut that can cause things like leaky gut and a proliferation of unhealthy balance in the gut microbiome. And then when the voltage drops further and actually flips voltage, it goes to plus about 30 microvolts, the cells can get cancerous. And then there are these fungal infections, mainly Candida. So it's very important to maintain a neutral to alkaline environment, as well as to maintain oxygenation in the tissues. So acidity in the body causes accelerated aging. It is associated with all chronic diseases. There's increased free radical damage. There are aching muscles, increased lactic acid in the muscles. There's reduced stress resistance, even mentally, emotionally. People don't feel well when they're achy and tired. Then we have depression. So the low voltage also affects the brain. And in the brain testing that we have in my office, we do the WAVI brain EEG. We often see low voltage in the neurons in the brain areas, and so that then correlates with brain fog and depression. With the acidity in the body, we also have obesity, because in order to be able to metabolize foods properly, we need the nutrients and we need the oxygen to keep the metabolism going. Acidity in the body causes immune deficiency. The white cells need oxygen to function properly. The leg cramps and muscle spasms can occur. So in the mitochondria, the powers of the cell, there is a process in which we make energy. And there's a molecule called acetyl-CoA, which then gets oxidized, and then it facilitates through a chemical transformation the production of ATP. ATP is our currency of energy. When we have oxygen in this cycle, we can make 38 ATPs for every fatty acid. If we have no oxygen, we only make 2 ATP. So what happens is that, if you think about it, your vehicle, which is your body, instead of getting 38 miles a gallon, you're getting 2 miles a gallon. And so it is important for metabolism and for overall health, as well as issues like weight loss, to be on the oxidative side of this biochemical process. And obviously nutrient deficiencies are also very important, because without appropriate nutrients we are not efficiently metabolizing our foods. So hyperbaric oxygen has been shown to have anti-aging effects. There were the global gene expression in the human endothelial cells were analyzed in exposure to hyperbaric oxygen. So endothelial cells is the one cell lining of the blood vessels. Obviously, very important. Once we have endothelial cell dysfunction, we are on our way to develop arteriosclerosis. So what showed is that antioxidant cell protective genes were upregulated, and that there was an increase in the resistance to what's called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is what causes, it's one of the causes of aging. So it appeared that hyperbaric oxygen therapy can induce a protection against this aging process, and thereby has anti-aging effects, direct gene effects. So the oxygen acts like medicine to affect genes beneficially. This is a study that looked at the fact that hyperbaric oxygen therapy increases circulating stem cells, and this is nitric oxide dependent. So the hyperbaric oxygen therapy also improves the production of nitric oxide, and through that mobilizes stem cells substantially. This is important. So over the course of 20 treatment, the circulating stem cells increased by 8-fold. If we think about if we want to regenerate our body, the improvement in circulating stem cells and the amount of them is important. Nitric oxide is very important for our vascular health. Again, the deficiency of nitric oxide has been related to the development of arteriosclerosis. Nitric oxide also plays a role in insulin resistance. So very important aspects physiologically that are affected by hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Chronic fatigue symptoms improved. So there were 16 patients that had a documented diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome. This is the fatigue severity was looked at, the fatigue quality of life score, and they completed 15 sessions. And all of the scores of chronic fatigue improved, and there were decrease in the severity of chronic fatigue symptoms and increase in the quality of life. This is a very challenging disease, chronic fatigue syndrome. So to have natural ways of improving that is very beneficial. In autoimmune disease, hyperbaric oxygen improved the immune cells, and what occurred was that in autoimmune disease, for example, lupus, which is a disease which attacks your own DNA, the antibodies against DNA were decreased, and there were less immune complex deposition. What that means is, abnormal deposits that could interfere with organ function. And so it appeared that there was definitely a benefit which goes along with the immune enhancing effects of hyperbaric oxygen. In rheumatoid arthritis, there were 3 patients that were treated with hyperbaric oxygen for an unrelated diagnosis, and their rheumatoid arthritis got better. Their sleeping patterns improved, and their pain decreased. They were able to have an increased activity level, and it appeared that there was a decreased need for the standard rheumatologic medications, which could be a very interesting alternative because rheumatoid arthritis is treated with significant immune suppressants that can have substantial side effects. In cancer therapy, the hyperbaric oxygen is an important aspect because it has been proven that a common feature of all tumors is acidity caused by low oxygen. So the tumor cells themselves have a way of maintaining their pH inside the cells, but making all of the surrounding tissues acidic. And this could be also part of this, the likelihood of spreading metastases, etc. So the oxygen therapy often combined as an adjunct, for example, with high-dose vitamin C, other natural components, patients who are wanting to support themselves while they're undergoing standard treatment, all of that can be very beneficial and is important to consider. We use hyperbaric oxygen at AM Medical LLC to augment many different healing modalities. For more information, you can find our website at www.ammedicalmd.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you look at YouTube and look for AM Medical LLC, you'll find us. Thanks so much for watching.